The Labour Party's great selling point is that they're not the Tory party, and this is understandable after several years of chaos at number 10 and a conveyor belt of prime ministers. The Tories are now a hated and toxic brand, including among many of their own supporters, and they've only brought it on themselves. But whilst the Tories suffered a momentous collapse in the May elections, and although the opposition made numerous headline-grabbing gains, their overall share didn't tick up significantly. May the 4th was spectacularly bad for the Tories, yes, but not spectacularly good for Labour. And with this current administration having at least a year to turn the ship around, it's all to play for. Given the state of the economy and the fact that millions of Brits are struggling to put food on the table, fill their cars with petrol and get a GP appointment, it's astonishing that Keir Starmer isn't enjoying a Tony Blair-style lead at the moment. But there's a reason for that. He's not Tony Blair. This pompous North London lawyer who typifies everything about the woke metropolitan Brexit-hating elite is simply not loved by the British public. Have you ever met a Keir Starmer fan? Where are these groupies, these fanatical supporters who every other game-changing Prime Minister, including Thatcher and Blair, had at their disposal? The only momentum that Keir Starmer's got is that group of hard-left ideologues breathing down his throat, momentum themselves. No one really likes Keir Starmer. At best, it's meh, and at worst, it's bleh. Why? Well, because in my view, he's not authentic. He's not real, he's not straight. The pledges he makes are about as valuable as shares in Silicon Valley Bank. He wants Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister, then he chucks him out of the party. He wants a second referendum on Brexit, effectively trying to reverse the decision. Now he reckons Brexit is a great idea. The team under him, including the likes of Emily Thornberry, laugh and sneer at the patriotic flags of the English people. But now he is Mr. Patriotic himself. He indulges in the fantasy that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, but then fudges it by saying 99% of women don't have a penis. A typical fence-sitting position that will please no one. He wants to nationalise industries, then he doesn't. He wants to scrap tuition fees, then he doesn't. And let's not forget his performance during the pandemic, when he went around pretending to be Prime Minister, holding random press conferences, I'm assuming from his bedroom, calling for extra emergency lockdowns. And he called Freedom Day in July 2021 reckless. Well, that aged well, didn't it? Starmer seems to have a great talent for being on the wrong side of every argument, because the views that he and his mates in Islington have do not represent the views of millions of ordinary Brits like you and me. It's not a fashionable view, but in our increasingly presidential system, when it's a straight choice between Prime Minister Starmer and Prime Minister Sunak, I think many will hold their nose and back Sunak with no great enthusiasm, but I think they will. Why? Well, Sunak, for all of his sins, hasn't flip-flopped or blown with the wind. He's been pretty consistent, including by raising taxes, which he said he would do, and which has been very unpopular within his own party. The politician you can trust is the one who's willing to be unpopular. Sunak has stabilised the economy, settling the nerves of the international bond markets, upon whose largesse we are now so reliant. And he has clearly identified his 5 big goals. He hasn't deleted them, he hasn't changed them, rewritten them, he hasn't scrapped them. Fix the NHS, halve inflation, tackle the debt, get the economy growing and stop the boats. What's not to like? Whereas, who knows what Starmer really thinks or what he wants to do? Can we hope that if he wins, he will be a moderate centre-left figure like Tony Blair, who I voted for 3 times? Well, given the fact that he's flanked by the likes of Angela Rayner and a hardcore rump of Corbynite backbenchers, I wouldn't be so sure. I think the local election results proved that Keir Starmer cannot win an overall majority, which means he would be reliant on the support of Humza Yousaf's terrifyingly woke SNP and hardcore socialist backbenchers, the likes of John McDonnell, Richard Bergen and Diane Abbott. They would be in the driving seat, and they would shift the party further to the left of Karl Marx. With the right leader, Labour achieve a healthy majority in a year's time. But But they don't have the right leader. They've got Keir Starmer. And with him, the best they can hope for is Labour as the biggest party in a hung parliament, at which point Britain will be hung out to dry. Be careful what you wish for.